lucky Marty was. Marty had, remember, Marty had to go back for 6 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
The States and fight, and he came back as, I guess, religious student and conscientious objector at the time, or
No, he signed on to a rabbinical school. That was how he got out of it.
Right.
yeah, I mean, he was
Funny
wearing a kippah
story
from that
about-
point on, obviously.
Yeah.
So
I have
yeah,
a funny story about Marty. I was living in Ottawa for 30 years, my late husband, and I was on a board of a Jewish high school we were creating from nothing. And I'm sitting on the board, and there's this guy sitting next to me, and I say to him, "Where's he from?" He says to me where he's from. He spent a year in Israel, a year, of course. We were both on Section 2. I didn't really know him that well then. I was kind of a newbie to young Judea. And we got to know each other really well for a number of years in Ottawa. He brought tremendous things to our small community. Anyways, he's one of the people I miss.
so I'm living here in, Lake Worth, next to Boynton Beach, Florida, and I'm in a plus 55 community, and we become friendly with a couple. And then they mention that they're going to Israel because they want to see a friend who hasn't been feeling so well. And I get curious, and it's Marty Davis.
Exactly, he shows up everywhere.
And which sort of stunned me. It was like a Jewish geography type of thing. But yeah, I had some great pictures though of Marty and Steve together, Marty and a couple, Mike Kasner. I'm sorry, Mike Kasner didn't join us for this one.
What's wrong?
I wanted to ask everyone, there were a lot of people who sent us pictures that we didn't use for whatever reason. And if you can post them in the Facebook group, there's a Facebook album with pictures from your course. That would be wonderful to see your pictures.
Yeah.
Great.
If I can
How do I find that?
do it, I'll do it.
Okay. Don, there's a Facebook group called, are you still there? Are you okay?
Really good. I'm outside.
There's a Facebook group called Your Course apostrophe 72-73, I think it is. But if you search for that group, you can then join that group and you can see the album and everyone's posts.
Oh, good, because I have a handful of very incriminating images. No, I can't post it. I can't post it on the internet. No, but I do have some that I can post. Yeah. The others I'm going to negotiate for. Anybody running for office at all?
I had a funny one
good
with David Fetterman. I don't know how, I thought David Fetterman was going to join this too.
Yeah, I thought so too. Lee, you're still muted, so if you want to unmute, we can talk.
Lee Marks.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I heard David Fetterman is a professor or something. Is that right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I tried to get Chester Lustgarten to join us, but he declined.
Wow.
Oh.
I keep in touch with him.
Wow.
I've seen him a number of times.
Wow.
We gave him way too much trouble.
You did.
I actually texted him while we were Zooming and told him he was missing out.
The poor guy. Hey, Don, do you still have Eleanor?
Do I still have? I do. I think have Eleanor. Yeah. Yeah. I've got a lot of. I have a lot of archival stuff.
Yeah.
How do you like that picture I sent you?
That was very nice. Thank you. My son loved it.
I'm hoping to. I'll go for this Facebook page and I'll post some of the imagery that I have from that time. I will do that.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. Oh my.
Myra Goldfarb was on earlier, but she needed to get off, but she sends regards to everyone.
Oh yeah.
Except nowadays her name is Myra Gold.
I noticed that. Yes. I said I gold, but I think there was something else, and it was exactly.
It was too confusing with both of us with the same last name,
Yes.
I held a mini reunion in 1977 when I was a student in New York City. And I don't know, we had about, 8-10 people who came, who were all living in New York, New Jersey at the time. And I can't remember, I know Mike Kasner was there obviously, and Heidi Felsen Brody was there. I'm surprised Heidi isn't part of this either today.
So my,
Several others. I think Myra actually was there. But yeah, and then I remember Steve Levin held a reunion. It was almost like 20 years ago at his house in New Jersey, where I saw Mike Kasner and Heidi there.
wow.
There were two of those. There was one in 2003, one in 2004, and different people came each year. But I was there in 2003 and almost didn't recognize you, Hesh. Remember? But it was lovely. It was mostly people who lived in the vicinity, and there were certain people that Steve was getting together with all the time, and they just decided to put it in Vatikim, which at the time was an alumni newsletter that Young Shtia was putting out for alumni, and a whole bunch more people showed up. It was really nice.
He had a lot of people at his house that day. I remember that. Well, I no longer, my hair doesn't go down between my shoulder blades anymore. So,
It's hair color too. It's not the same color it used to be. Does anybody know what happened to Hannah and Randy?
Yes.
I want to know.
Yes.
Hannah is still in New Orleans.
Oh, really?
And Randy just moved near here where I live to Asheville.
Oh,
She's a consultant and had been living outside of Bethesda, Maryland, I think, somewhere in that area doing consulting on the Mars project. She turned into a real science geek. And so now she works remotely. She just moved to Asheville. Hopefully I'll get to see her in another month or so after the pandemic. Hannah became an artist and is doing art in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
How long has she been there?
Send Randy my regards, okay?
I sure will. And also, by the way, I spoke with Abe earlier today.
Oh, okay.
And he's driving, so he couldn't be here. But
Abe Margolin.
Yeah, Abe Margolin. Yep.
And he sent his best regards, right, Jan?
Yes, right. Yeah, that'll fit him perfectly. Yeah.
Judy, did you ever hear from Marla Dubinsky?
No, nobody was able to find a good contact for her when I did a lot of hunting. I did playing detective, to try and find people. Couldn't get in touch with her.
Marla? Oh, no.
Marla.
Yeah, Marla. Sharon Prudowski was supposed to be on the call. I did find her.
What about Nancy? Nancy Kropp?
Could not find her.
How about
Marla and I were roommates a year later on Ein Road. When I went back, we roomed together because the rest of the volunteers there were just like really crazy. And
Marla went back?
Oh, I don't know if she went back or she was there when I went back.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Wow, yeah.
Adele, Jackie's trying to get back in.
Oh, Jackie?
Lewis. Yeah.
Jackie Lewis.
You just texted me.
Hang on.
Is anyone in touch with Varda?
See that.
Yeah, Adele and Debbie are in touch with Varda.
Yeah, but I don't know why she's not
where's
here.
Varda?
Yeah, I was sure Varda was going to be here. Yeah. Okay,
She's
I'm going
pretty active on
for a
Facebook.
minute. I'll be right back. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Lived in the city for 20 years.
Where in the city were you living?
52nd Street, East Side.
That's when I saw you last, I think.
Yeah, when you were still, do you still go in?
No, I stopped in 2012. Yeah, but I think you left right at 9/11 or something. Before,
yeah, I
right
left 4 months before.
Oh, you missed the fun.
Yeah, I did miss
Hey,
it.
guys,
We
had a little mini reunion, right? At the
Yeah, I just looked at that picture. It was me, you, Don,
Heidi,
Abe, Heidi,
Don.
Yeah.
Remember
Abe,
that?
and Lee.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, at the market.
At the market, yeah.
That's right, at the market, yeah, in the city.
Where's that
And
picture?
we went to Russ
I have it. I
Hagen's
could
house.
send it to you.
Oh, that's great. I don't think I have that picture. I
Yeah,
remember it, but I for some reason I don't have it.
I have that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jackie's here. Hi, Jackie.
Hey, Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
You should unmute yourself.
Adele, you're muted too, Adele.
Sorry you got left out in the cold, Jackie.
Jackie's still muted.
Yeah,
So when you're
I got kicked
unmuted,
off.
are you a mutant?
There you go.
I unmuted myself.
Great.
Hey, Jackie.
Hey, Jackie, I go to San Francisco pre-COVID. I used to go to San Francisco a lot. I've got a son living in Berkeley, North Berkeley, and
Oh, nice.
with his wife and my grandson out there. And it's like, it's so lovely, but it's been so difficult there, you know, with all of the problems that they've been having there. But I really miss them. I mean, obviously we FaceTime and stuff, but I used to love going there, and we'll get back there soon enough.
Jackie, I'm sorry to say I am a Dodger fan.
Ooh, I'm happy the Giants are on at 1 today. That's what keeps
My
me
dad
going.
in first place.
Gosh. Oh my.
Wow, really something. Jana, so you live in North Carolina.
Yeah, I finally had enough of all the cities. I moved here literally 2 weeks before the virus hit.
Oh my.
So I felt pretty fortunate that I'm in this small town not far from Camp Judea. It's called Brevard. And
Wavard?
Brevard.
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 B-R-E. Brevard. And it's where Pisgah National Forest is, which is where we used to go on our campouts at Camp Judea. And it's beautiful, and that's why I took up mountain biking, because I thought, well, got to do something, you know, can't go to the gym anymore. So I got a mountain bike and started riding. I have a few black and blue marks to prove that I actually do it. But
Yeah, a year ago, Sharon and I went to Asheville, but we stayed there for about a week. But pretty much we stayed in one of these mountain resorts called, I think it was Wolf Laurel or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. And so, a friend of ours had rented a house for a month, you know, and so we went to spend a week with them up there. It was just gorgeous up there.
It is.
It is beautiful.
And of course, Asheville's a funky town. And now one of my best friend's kids and his girlfriend have just moved to Asheville for a year just to try it out from New York City. They got tired of just trying to deal with everything in New York City right now.
It is booming. I mean, they're building, they're making the highway bigger. Asheville is just, I mean, people here in Brevard talk about Asheville like it's New York City. You know, the traffic is so bad, you know, for them, they're not used to it. But, you know, this is a little quaint town.
Yeah.
You know, there's been, I don't know, 43 cases, I think, of COVID or something like that.
It's been
a blessing.
Yeah.
You know. Thank God.
Our daughter lives in Asheville.
Your daughter?
Yeah. Really?
Oh my God. Does she love it?
She does. Yeah. She's been there. She's lived there twice in the last, I guess, 5 or 6 years. But she's settling in there, and our grandson lives there, and it's going there. I think in a few weeks, actually, on a road trip.
Yeah. Well, give me a ring. I mean, I'm still social distancing and being.
Yeah, we are.
I actually, a couple months ago, my mom was living in a facility in Florida, and they had their first case, and she sounded terrible. So I actually did an extraction. You know, I hired a limo and a plane and all this.
and grabbed her out of there.
Yeah, it was really pretty surgical. It turned out she actually had internal bleeding, and I don't know who's a doctor here, but her hemoglobin level was 4.6. She was almost dead. And we got her, you know, she collapsed when she got here. So it was like just in the nick of time.
Wow.
So I'm living with my 92-year-old mother while she's healing, and
holy mackerel.
She wants to go back home now, but you know, Florida's a little scary.
Yeah.
But soon,
Let's go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting better here in Florida. The numbers have been coming down, but then again, they don't test as much. as
Yeah,
they
they
should.
got a ways to go.
Right.
Yeah, it's a ways to go. And my four grandkids are going to school now. They're in small pods, and one goes to two of them go to a JCC school, and two of them go to a Chabad school. And they've pretty much managed it really well with these very small pods of kids. But now, since they went back to going to school, I'm wearing a mask.
Yeah, it's scary.
Around them
You have to.
around, yeah. And so, yeah, I just hear they're coming through the front door. I got four of them living here, all right, and so we see them all the time. It's really amazing. So
That's awesome. It's
yeah,
funny
it really
to see
is.
you living in Florida after being a Yankee all those years.
I know.
It was
Tough.
Right?
Yeah.
I never would have expected you to go there, Hesh.
well. I love playing golf, and so I can come down here, and we started coming down here 12 years ago. We bought like a villa, so it was meant to be a vacation place actually. And then 3 weeks after I bought it, I got restructured out of my job. And so, and it was December 1st, and I said, let's head down to our new place in Florida. And we went down, we became Florida residents, and we'd spend half the year in Florida, half the year up in Pennsylvania in Allentown. And I became a consultant. And so I just needed to be near an airport. So that's what I was doing. And then I decided to give up all that life of the road warrior, getting on planes early Monday morning, coming home late Thursday night. And, it was just really a drag. And so we decided to move to Florida full time. And as I was making the move, I got recruited into a full-time job down here. And so things have really worked out. But I love Florida because I can play golf year round. That's really the bottom line. And then two of my kids decided, hey, mom and dad are there in Florida. Let's move down. And they both came. Everybody lived in my house. We had 10 people living in my house. And then they got their own homes and stuff. But it's all worked out really great. So, yeah.
So I'm curious, who else is really fully retired and not working anymore? Raise your hands.
Me. Me.
Not too many. Most of us are still working.
Wow. I can't imagine that yet.
I got picked up by the JCC.
I think on your course one, more of the retired. Your course two, we're workers.
Yeah.
You were chalutzim. I forgot to say that I have a daughter in college. I kind of got a late start, and I adopted a daughter from Russia in my 40s. Wow. So I'm still putting her through college.
How is she?
She's doing great, Don. I can't believe it. It's what I get for raising her in the South. After the first 10 years, I was in Newton in Boston, and then I went to Atlanta. So she decided she wanted to go to a rural school. So she's in Mississippi. Oh. God help me.
Mississippi?
Yeah, I know. Of all the states she could pick to make me cry, Mississippi did. Yeah, she loves it there. So what are you gonna do? But yeah, she's doing well.
Wow.
Lee, you're so quiet as usual. Tell us more.
Not much, not so much to tell, really. They kind of try to fly under the radar, so to speak. But
never known you to be so quiet, actually.
Well, I was a little bit of a wild child there, I guess you could say.
You think?
Yeah.
One of the things I liked about you, actually.
I was just looking at pictures, Don, of in the room. We had the pet chameleon and the scorpion.
The scorpion and the
scorpion.
snake.
Oh God, Don, you had such an aquarium.
The chameleon on top of Arda's head. I have a picture of her, kind of. It's just so funny. So many great pictures. Jan, I have pictures of you in your sweat outfits, which I won't show anybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I have Adele. I have a picture of you. I think you had just gotten out of, and it's all very innocent, frankly. You had just gotten out of the shower. You had a towel wrapped around you, but you had this beautiful big smile, but you were like embarrassed, and it just great shots. Debbie Zip, you're such a sweetheart. I remember you and Kathy, rooming together. I was so sad when I heard.
Oh my God.
Made me so sad. I had a little crush on Kathy for a little short period of time there on kibbutz. Such a sweetheart, you know.
Oh yeah.
And Hershey, I was looking at it. I was just saying, I had a picture. Remember those embroidered pants that you had?
I still have
And,
them.
oh, you do. I have such silly pictures, and you know, some you know, pictures of incriminating pictures. Let's just say. As well.
Nobody's running for office, though. You know.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
You're not going to
Running
make
for
money
office.
off of them.
I didn't
I
think I
thought
cared
maybe
much
Mike
then.
might run for office. I've got a couple of good ones of his that just wouldn't fly.
Right.
I didn't care
I'm
much
look-
then. I don't care. I don't think I care too much today either, really. But you know,
Yeah.
as far as that goes, kept my sense of humor. Life has definitely hardened me a little bit, you know. I guess, but kept my sense of humor and got a nice family here. I'm just waiting for my kids to come over. I'm in my backyard. We're gonna, you know, we usually get together on Sundays and
Yeah.
you know, grill and stuff like that. So you know, it's still kind of nice. They live in the area, and I'm still working, Adele. You were asking about that, and I kind of love what I do. I hate dealing with Manhattan, but what I do is kind of little bit artsy, and I work with my hands, and so
Cutting diamonds.
yeah, still, yeah,
Amazing.
I've been doing that
Wow.
for like 42 years. I
Wow.
still need the money too, so I mean, I guess it's a little bit of everything, but it's kind of therapeutic, really, to do, and you know, life is okay, I guess. You know, we're still here.
How many
Like,
kids do you have, Lee?
I have two. I have a daughter and a son. My daughter's 38. My son is 34. Well, they'll both be in September. And my daughter just got married about a year ago in Aruba. We were in Aruba. So it was kind of fun. It was nice. And no grandkids yet, but you know, I'm in no rush. That's okay.
Hi, Cindy.
Bye-bye.
There you are.
Cindy's leaving.
Bye, Cindy.
This is the day I got back.
There we go.
Oh.
David Savell, Mark Rubel, and me.
Oh my God.
Great.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
And I had another one because we all got together about 2 years ago in Boston.
That's great, Mike.
And it was really funny to be together with them. But yeah.
One of my kids, my son Adam, he dropped out of college because he wanted to become a singer-songwriter, recording artist.
I remember that. I have a CD.
I have a
Oh, you have the CD, yeah.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I mean, he got discovered. He got a record contract, the whole bit, and he did that for about 12 years. And he had a recording studio actually in Coney Island, about a block away from Nathan's, right next to the bumper cars, actually. And but then he finally decided that, you know, it was a really tough business, the music business, and he didn't want to play for cover bands and do stuff like that. So he came to me one day and said, Dad, I've decided I want to become a mobile app developer. I said, okay. And so then he got into this high-tech, you know, boot camp in San Francisco. And now he's been a developer for Yelp for the last 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Totally changed his life. Yeah. From being a recording artist to that. But yeah, you can still get his album on his, you know, on iTunes, whatever else. And but he made a good go of it, and he had a number of national TV appearances during the time, like on the Ellen DeGeneres show and a couple of others. But it was such a tough business, you know, to make it. So
yeah, brutal.
Here's one more picture. This is
Yes,
this
that's
is
from
Jana's.
the reunion.
This is Jana's photo.
Yes.
Wow.
Don and Abe, look at those mustaches. Heidi
Yeah.
and Hershey. Yeah.
Wow.
That was our reunion at the
At the market.
honey show.
That's great.
The farm-
Yeah.
I have one photo where Mike Kasner, Keith Stern, and Abe Margolin all decided to shave their beards on the same day.
Oh, wow.
I took a photo, it's sort of like a post beard shaving photo of the three of them. I'll post that on the year course.
Oh,
thing.
please do. Yeah.
How is Michael Kastner?
I
How
you
is
know, I
Michael
haven't spoken with
Kastner?
Mike in a long time. I actually just reconnected with his sister down here in Florida. Has anybody spoken with Mike lately?
I messaged I messaged with him not that long ago. He was doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a
He's a
glatt kosher business.
butcher up here in northern New Jersey. That was the last that I
Yeah, he's got a
heard.
glatt kosher business there. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what happened many years ago, I have kids living in New York and Boston, and I was in New Jersey. And I was in his coffee shop, and I saw the picture of all of us with Ben Gurion. That's taken.
I took that
I
picture.
got to show. This was many years
Did
ago.
you?
My kid.
Yeah.
I said,
I'm not in that picture. I took that.
it's
Yep.
so
I'm not in the picture, but I was there, so I don't know where I was.
You were probably like directing it from the back.
Yeah, probably.
Smile, everyone.
Yeah. But I also want to share a memory.
We were very fortunate, you know.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to share a memory with Lee. I go to the beach in Natanya all the time, and I remember because I was writing about Kathy the other day. Adele asked me to write about Kathy, and I remembered when we went, you and Kathy and I went to the beach in Natanya, one of our first trips that we took, and we had like nothing. Kathy brought grits with her, and we had water, and we ate the seeds, and I'd never eaten seeds before, and it was like. I think I told my daughter about that also today because I told her I met her in Tel Aviv on Rothschild. And I went, social distance totally. And so I was like, wow, that was.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
I got robbed. I got robbed on the beach in Tanya. Me and Les. Steve, were you with us that time?
I don't remember that one.
Well, Les and I don't know who else, but we were sleeping on the beach in Netanya once, and in the middle of the night, some guy, while we were dead asleep, was able to drag our knapsacks right out from under our heads and take everything that we owned. And they didn't take our passports, though, but it took a while to find them. But,
I had an apartment in Jerusalem right after your course. And believe it or not, someone actually came into my bedroom. I don't know how, and just managed to take my passport.
Oh.
Jackie, how are you doing? Or how is your rehab going?
My rehab is going great. I had a stroke, but I'm really good. And it was minor, kind of. But I was with my daughter in Phoenix. I'd gone to spring training for the Giants. But that's not over now. So she got me to the hospital quickly.
Oh, that's
happily,
great.
She's a social worker and she knew what was happening. She kept saying, "Mom, you're having a stroke." And I'm like, "No, I'm not." So I got to the hospital really quickly and really I'm recovering. And
Oh, you're lucky.
And in my life, I was really lucky. My late husband was part of the original Aliyah group to Keturah. So my Hebra is Debbie and Les. So I see Debbie
What's that?
time. He's married to Ron Rosenblum, who was Peanuts in camp. And
Jackie, what was your?
so that's my family. It's Debbie and Rom and Les. And my daughter is a social worker in Phoenix, and she sees Les all the time.
I was at
Or not
Really?
last year.
Jackie, what
Yeah,
was your,
so he's part of her family.
Jackie, what was your husband's name?
Lewis. I've never. My husband was Howie Katz.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he died like just suddenly. He was in business with Hillel Solomon, who was also part of the kibbutz. So he like was driving somebody home from work, and he just maybe had a heart attack.
Wow.
But he died.
I made
quickly.
when I came back to live in Israel in December 73, and I made Aliyah to Keturah, and he was there then.
Yeah, I was on Keturah at the same time he was as well. I came in January as a volunteer. Yeah, like finished my first semester at college, which was when the war was, and couldn't wait to get back to Israel. So I was a volunteer on Keturah about 6 months, I think. So yeah, I knew Howie from then as well.
Yeah, he was kind of nuts. Everybody from Maryland, anybody that went to Israel had to bring him M&Ms. So, and that's really, I grew up with his brothers, but I didn't really know Howie. But that's my first introduction. I brought him M&Ms.
Jackie, I used to make those M&Ms. I
always
worked
eat it.
I worked for M&M's for 6 years in Hackettstown, New Jersey. And
Really?
I was actually a commodity trader for M&M's for 4 of those years, where I was buying all of the corn syrups and the soybean oils and the starches and everything else that was necessary to make the M&Ms and all the other Mars products. And I worked in the plant too for a couple of years, and you had to wear a uniform every day when you went into work. And the smell of chocolate was just so strong. I'd come home at night and all my clothes were just reeked with this chocolate smell.
Yeah.
Make me change my clothes right before getting in the house because it was so strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
You know-
I had my son at home. I gave birth at home,
Really?
and Howie was eating M&Ms the whole time. And I was like, stop eating those.
Yeah.
So, like in the when this was developing for me, only in the last few days, when Michael let me know it was happening, so I started to think, about all of us and the connections and stuff, and I'm pulling out stuff, and I'm like, and I just have to say about Kathy Sternberg and Hannah, just how much I just remembered how much fun that I always had in their company. And when they were together, it was like, it was like this, right?
Yeah.
And not like this, like that. And all those songs that they used to do, the head, shoulders, knees and toes, and swing low, sweet chariot.
Oh yeah.
How about that one? Coming forward to carry me home, and I just, there's so many, like everywhere they went together, there was this cheer that they brought up that and I remember it everywhere, like in the dormitory in Jerusalem. I remember it in Tel Yehuda. I remember it in the middle of the fucking, pardon my French, Sinai Desert.
Yeah.
Just like out of nowhere, it's like stand up time, and we're gonna start singing. And,
what about Remember the Mountain Dew song? Kathy used to sing that all the time.
Oh yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, and Lee, when we were putting together a playlist of songs from your course time, I put on Duke of Earl in your honor.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did you put Strangers in the Night in there too?
No, we should. Yeah.
Yeah, Marty used to sing that all the time, right?
Right.
He was, in his baritone voice, it was but you were right, Don. I mean, you were really right, because the two of them, Hannah, Kathy, they brought such energy to everything.
I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, you can hardly not pee in your pants sometimes.
So much fun to be around. Oh my.
I mean, like I remember being in the dormitory on Mount Scopus, and it was like getting like old, and then just like it's like opening up a bag of flowers, like woo, snakes. It's like wee, here we are, and it's like, and Hannah in her overalls, and Kathy was like. So much fun in the middle of all that hoopla.
Wow.
Is anybody in touch with Hannah? We didn't manage to find her, did we, Judy?
Well, she's on Facebook, although I don't think she's looked at her Facebook in a long, long time.
Is her last name Cohen?
Yes, still Cohen. But she never joined the Year Course Facebook group, and nobody has, I think, a current contact email for her.
You know what? I'll ask Randy, because I
That would
know
be great. I had asked Randy at one point if she could get Hannah to join the Year Course group, the Facebook group, and I think she asked and Hannah didn't. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Hannah never does Facebook, but maybe we can see for this if we can get a hold of her, or at least get her email so we can send her some of the pictures, whatever.
That would be great.
I was a Facebook holdout. I did not want to get on Facebook. I did not want to get on Facebook. What got me on Facebook? I don't remember who it was, said, there is a picture of us with Ben Gurion.
Yeah.
On the Facebook group, and that's what got me in.
Did it for me too.
Yeah.
So maybe you could get her in, maybe you can lure her in with the pictures.
I have to say goodbye to everyone, but this was really,
Shana Tova Shoshana.
everyone be well.
Josh, let's talk soon.
Yeah.
This worked out very well.
Holy
I think we
mackerel.
can
Hey,
do this a
David
little more
Beckman.
frequently.
We
Catch up
should.
with people.
We can. We just have to say the word and we can.
Yeah.
David, you
I don't go on
remember
Yes,
that
Facebook.
Pam,
meeting
this is
together?
on all the bad cooking we did.
Oh,
The
yeah.
fact that we had to cook for our kibbutz group. And I had never really cooked before.
It was worse going on the Teolim and having to cook on the open fire and all that stuff with the spam or whatever crap that was they gave us.
Or eating cold canned corn. I remember doing a lot of that on TLE.
Right, and that excuse for coffee.
Yeah.
Oats.
Cafe Boats.
I never drink the bottom of my coffee, even now.
Me too. I grind my coffee just to get a little mud in the bottom.
But I just can't drink the bottom.
David, I remember we were so excited when your parents brought cornflakes and peanut butter and ketchup. It was a big deal.
They had tried sending stuff, but they found that when they repackaged it, they wouldn't allow it through the customs. They had to send it in original jars.
In the original boxes.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I used to have long hair, and
I do remember.
when we were in,
Me
I
too.
remember people coming up to me and asking me, "Could I have a strand of your hair?" Because we used to tie it around
Yes, Simonim.
to put it.
Simonim.
Yeah.
I
have
used to
one.
call the United States with Varda's hair. It was so long. It was like, you know, and I used to tie it to it and run it through. Oh, yeah, of course. I used to run it through and hold back the Simonim.
There you
used to
go.
call,
I
like,
still
all
have
over
an
the place.
Simone in my wallet.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
good
yeah.
luck charm.
You know what else? The 10 agarot coin at the time fit into American payphones instead of a dime.
Really?
And I brought home a huge sack of them.
There's a profit margin.
Yeah.
Crazy. Oh, my.
And did you know that Debbie went to school in Beit Riklis?
No.
Yeah, I studied.
Debbie Zip?
Yeah, I studied occupational therapy in Jerusalem, and it was in Beit Riklis. So
Wow.
spent a lot of time there.
Wow. I was just going through my things and just the other day, and I'm looking through and I found a letter from you, Deb. And you were way upstate New York somewhere going to school or something. It was like 6 hours away or something from
That was
here.
in Syracuse.
Oh, in Syracuse.
I
Yeah.
was in Syracuse, and Kathy went to school even farther north, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to visit you, Debbie. I went to visit you when you were studying. Before I made Aliyah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So the people who've been really quiet should talk a little more, like Steve and Joellen and David.
I'm just enjoying listening to everyone. My granddaughter lives in Israel. She made Aliyah. She followed my footsteps. She went on Aardvark. She didn't want to go on your course, but then she was sorry she didn't. And she was in the IDF, and she lives in Ramat Gan. So we're very proud of her.
Nice.
My brother ended up going to Keturah in 1985 and stayed there for about 15 years. Met a girl there from Minnesota, got married.
Really?
They have 2 Sabra kids, and then they made the reverse aliyah to Delray Beach, Florida, years ago. And they're all in Florida.
Wow.
He started the Cup of Joe chain of coffee along with another friend of his from Baltimore. 2 of them started Cup of Joe in Israel, and
Wow.
he left Israel when Dalek bought half of the company from him, and then just recently they settled on the other half. So
Wow.
okay,
That's a big thing here.
coffee is good. His coffee is really good.
It's
Yeah.
a big
It
thing.
is.
So speaking of coffee, I've got a trivia question. There was a song, and I'm not sure if it was there when the year we were there, or if it was the year after because I went back. But anyway, there was a really popular pop band, and they had this crazy kind of pop song, jazzy pop song, and they were like mixed musicians, Russians and Israelis and Europeans and stuff. And there was a break in the song where it said "Ulai shutei od kos cafe," and it was all about drinking coffee and getting together.
Yeah.
And do you remember that song? I want to know the name of that. Of the,
Olai titnuli kos cafe. No, like what?
yeah, what's the name of that band or that song?
Cafe. Olai titnuli.
It wasn't one of the Kaveret songs.
Yeah.
It was.
Mich Veret or
Poogie.
No, Kaveret is the group, but people call them.
Oh, it was
Poogie.
Kaveret was the group.
Okay,
Yeah.
Cafe Turki.
Yeah.
Cafe Turki.
Yeah.
No, it's Olai titnuli kos
As tishte Cafe Turki.
And there was a break right in the middle of the song. They would stop on this sharp break and they'd go, "Ulai shutei od kos cafe." And like, I know, like working in the Midged, you know, with the fish, these guys would like always like, every time we made coffee, there was like, you know, it was always part of the shtick that went on.
I think it was the year after we were there.
Yeah, it could be.
Doesn't sound familiar.
But it was Kaveret.
No.
No. Debbie says it's something else.
Oh. Yep. That's the band, but that's not the song, but that's the band.
It's probably another coffee song that Don's thinking of.
Uh-huh. Yeah. No, I was just they were really great musicians. They were super talented.
Is that not the song you were talking of?
That's not the song.
Oh man.
Hey,
Close though.
Tried.
Don, you mentioned something about fishing. I remember when we were harvesting fish at Road, that had to be the most backbreaking, most difficult job of any job I've ever done in my life. And I've done a lot of manual labor in my life.
Yeah.
Remember when the machine broke, when we had to get all the kibbutzikim down because the lake didn't drain the right way and we're manually fish onto the conveyor so they would, before they wouldn't die.
Onto the conveyor and then
getting stuck in the mud, which went up to your thighs, and it was.
Did any of you go out to the sea? We went out to the sea and caught them. We caught all those little fish.
Oh, I caught the mullet. That was the baby mullets.
Yeah,
sure, I did it. Yeah, all night long.
Yeah.
And
it
then
was
you
a whole
go to
night.
the pancake house. The big reward was to go to pancake.
That
We're going to have pancake. Yes, lanu pancakeim. Yeah.
It's the only.
Yeah,
It's still there. The pancake house is still there. It's the only one I can
really?
sell. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
My big long-term job was working in the chicken coops.
Yeah, mine too.
Well, I only
The
did
three
that
of
for
us.
17 years, so.
David and Steve and I worked in the loom. That was great. And Grandma
I
was-
did it twice. I did it because I was the only one who knew how to actually
kill them.
Chickens.
Kill them. Because I remember, I tell this story all the time, that we had to catch the chickens because they had to inoculate them all.
Mhm.
And I was going in and scooping them up and holding them like little kittens, and you were grabbing them by the feet
And smacking them.
and smacking them. By the end of the day, I was doing the same thing because they were all biting our legs the whole time.
All the Connecticut chicken farmers knew what
Yeah,
to
I know.
do.
I took one and just cracked in there.
And after they saw how well I could catch chickens, they asked me if I knew how to cut off their beaks, and I said, yeah, I do. And so then they put me to work doing that. The fact was, I had never done it in my life, but I had watched my father do it a million times while I worked
Right.
with my father. And so I figured I can do this. And yeah, so I did that.
One of my favorite memories in working in the Lul is one of the older guys that worked there, probably younger than we are now, but older, you know, spoke, he was from Argentina, and another one was from Germany.
Right.
Oh, I know that. I worked for
Some
them.
would speak
They
German.
each spoke to each other in their native language, but they understood each
And they
other. It was
understood
great.
each other.
Then they spoke to us
From
in
the
Hebrew.
Hebrew for the word
Right.
they didn't know
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah, they would speak. One would speak in Yiddish, and the other one would speak in Spanish, and they understood each other. And I remember them vividly.
Wow.
And I wrecked the tractor there. One time I was picking up eggs from all of the luls going down the hill, and it was this 1940s Massey Ferguson tractor,
Yeah.
and so there's a safety on the emergency brake. There's a safety thing that you have to put in place. I parked in front of the coop, and I went in to get the eggs that were all bound up and everything, load them on this trailer, and it was like the halfway through, and I walk in, and all of a sudden I hear the tractor idling, and it's getting quiet. And I looked outside, and there's this tractor going down the hill, and eggs are going like all over the place, and it runs right into the chicken coop below, and the feed silo goes and crushed the tractor. And they were so pissed at me that they didn't throw me off the kibbutz, but they put me in purgatory, which was the machine shop, for over a month. And I was the gopher slave in the machine shop, and nobody would speak to me, and except tell me what to get over, like this. And they were so pissed at me until they rebuilt that tractor. I had to stay. I was like 5 weeks in that place. It was terrible. They were really, everybody was pissed off at me.
Do you remember the
Eggs
very
all
first
over
thing?
the place.
But do you remember the very first job we got when we got to kibbutz? We had
Olives.
to picking olives.
Wow, hated it.
And the German volunteers there picked twice as many olives as we did, and how embarrassed we were. And then the next day we're out there like furiously trying to pick olives to keep up with the Germans. And it was like, it was just, it was 25 years later that I ate an olive again. I did not want to see an olive again in my life after that first 2 weeks of picking olives there. It was just.
You remember getting kerosene so we could heat up our showers?
Oh yeah.
Oh sure.
Yeah.
I have one of those heaters. I have one of those heaters that used to heat the water. I found one it's almost identical to it, and it's probably from like 1940 or something here. But I still have one of those in my archives. One of those coiled with the little burner in the bottom of it.
Yeah, to pour in the neft. Yeah.
Yeah, neft and definitely.
Hey, Don,
When you called a fireside.
Don, when you went back to Angel Road, were Sphera and Nitzan still there?
Yes. Yep, they were, and they were moving up socially a little bit more active in what they were doing. And I don't think that Nitzan was working with the groups anymore. I think he was doing something else, but they were there.
Yeah, my worst job was with Nitzan. I had to go around and catch cats so they can kill them.
To euthanize all the cats.
Yeah. Worst job ever.
Well, how about one of the best jobs was working ashpa on the ashpa is garbage.
Yeah.
Ashpa on the garbage wagon. And
that British guy.
We used to run ropes and tie everything to the back. Remember, Lee? Do you remember that? The like tying the dolls and stuff to that, and like dragging them behind. And that guy who was an English guy, an Aliyah, a person from, and he was like so like
straight,
so straight, and everybody humiliated him, and he didn't give a shit. He just like, but he had the garbage. That was what he did. That was his job, and we used to ride on the back, and all that rotten grapefruit. Oh my God.
Well, you know what? The one day I picked grapefruit was actually like one of my favorite days because it wasn't rotten.
Oh yeah.
And we got to climb up like to the top of the tree so you can see out over the trees, and it smelled delicious. And the grapefruits were so much easier to pick than some of the other stuff because they were the, you know, hand size. And I really enjoyed working in the grapefruits, but I only got to do it for a day.
Yeah. I used to work, when I worked with the bees, which I think was the year later, we used to pollinate the grapefruit orchards. We used to move the bees into the orchard, into the grove, and they would pollinate. And while you were doing that, the leftovers from the last crop, they were blooming just after they finished picking the crop. They started blooming again. And so the leftovers that they didn't pick were still hanging there, and they were the sweetest. They were small and small grapefruits, like half size. And they were just the sweetest things. And I really got into grapefruit, you know, because they were so sweet at that time. But it was like they were hanging on the trees. But
do you guys remember jumping on the cotton to squish it down?
Yes, I did that with Anna. Oh my God.
Stomping cotton. Yep. Yeah. It was us and the Palestinians, right? We're all in the way. Stomping cotton together.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I went back the second time, so it was right after the 73 war, I guess it was, right? And because that was October War. That was the October War. So I got back like in January. Well, when I got there, so everybody was called up. So there was only the women that were left and the old people were left. So that was kind of interesting. All these women running around. But anyway, the farm, you should have seen, because the volunteers had planted like the crops and the rows went like this through the field because they were busy like lighting a cholent or something while they were planting, and all of the plantings were so like there was no straight lines in the fields at all, and you see all these crops growing like crazy, and you knew that all volunteers like planted this stuff. It was really kind of funny. It was really something.
No, where our
and that's where that's where I met my wife Dale.
Wow.
What's that?
Remember our Hebrew teacher, Adela Segalovich?
Oh,
yeah.
Adela.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she was great. She
Tommy
really
was
Knockneek. Knockneek was the Knockneekia was one of the jokes, like a schmeckle, the Knockneek, and used to use it, and she would just like not saying. And she would just go on and try to teach us, and we were really bad in the beginning.
Oh, we were a difficult class.
Terrible.
Lee, you were terrible.
I mean, getting them drunk.
I was right there with you.
At our block party, when we did the block party, we got them drunk. Got pictures of them guzzling the wine out of the bottle.
Uh-huh.
Adela and Tamara or Tommy.
Yeah. אני שכחתי כמעט כל. הרבה. Mucho.
Hey, listen, guys, I'm going to have to sign off and go take care of Mom, but this was amazing seeing everybody. Adele, I can't believe you guys did this. Judy, it's wonderful. And hopefully this will keep us together and we'll have more.
Really, thank you so much.
Getting active. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I got to go as well.
I look forward to that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Adele, and Lashana Tova, everyone.
Shana Tova, everybody.
Shana Tova. Hey,
Be well, be safe.
I have your email addresses. Thank you, Adele and Judy. And so when I find photos, because I got a bunch of stuff, I will send them to everybody.
Are you on Facebook, Don?
I am on Facebook, but
So
I don't frequent there much. I have two.
Okay, so get into the Course group and share them there, and everybody can enjoy them.
I'm going to do that.
And Adele, send me everybody's email address if you could, please. Okay.
It's on the last
It's on the emails.
If you just expand.
It's all CC'd.
Expand it.
Okay. It's all CC'd.
It's all CC'd on the email.
It is
the
on at
emails,
least
it's
one of
all
them, Adele.
CC'd
I
there.
thought it was BCC. That's
Yeah.
why I didn't see them.
There's
Ad-
like.
No, they
like
are
a
CC'd.
Spreadsheet.
Okay.
Hesh,
Spreadsheet.
my uncle lives in Fort Worth, at Lake Worth. So next
Oh,
time
really?
you're able to come, I'll get in touch.
All right. Okay. Take care, everyone.
All right.
Okay,
Good
Fantastic. I'm
night.
so glad.
Bye-bye.
I'm so
Bye.
glad
Thank you.
you got this together.
Bye.
Bye. Lehitraot.
Lahito.
Litrot.
He throws.